think the demons are here.
Okay, I think we are safe for now. Let's talk about Season 2 of The Promised Neverland before the demons show up again. So Season 2 just ended, and wow, I have a lot to say. So sit back, grab a drink, and straddle in while we dissect what the happened to the second season of The Promised Neverland. So let me just start off with saying Season 1 was a near masterpiece. There's few shows that I've ever watched that had such a perfect first season. The pacing was near perfect, the suspense and psychological drama was at an all-time high, as we sat on the edge of our seats every episode wondering what was going to happen next. I thought it was some pretty intelligent writing, and yes, set aside for a minute, they are only 12 years old and have the critical thinking and problem solving skills that I would say not even most adults are capable of utilizing. So just putting that aside and accepting these kids are geniuses and can problem solve their way to breaking out of this farm was amazing to watch. So needless to say, of course I was incredibly excited for Season 2 and stayed away from the manga because I wanted to be just as surprised as I was in the first season. And boy, was I ever surprised. But not for the reasons you would hope for. Oh, by the way, if you haven't seen Season 1, then I would really recommend you check that out before watching this video. But I've also done a recap video, so I'll put a link to that below. So Season 2 picks up right where Season 1 left off, and the kids are on the run. We see them being chased by a huge demon. And since they were getting close, Ray tells everyone to run off. He gets in way over his head and was about to be captured until this mysterious entity shows up and saves him. The same can be said for Emma and the others, as Emma was losing blood from cutting her ear off and just kind of passed out. So far, this is all really great stuff. I like the pacing, and we now get introduced to some demons who have brought them all underground, where they are all safe, and we learn that not all demons are bad demons. So this is also a really cool story arc because we are seeing demons are not all bad, just like humans. So they spend some time down there getting stronger, learning how to survive on their own, and I'm totally on board for all of this. So Emma is learning how to hunt and use a bow and arrow, then the others are learning to cook and do other things as well, and so now they are ready to make their way to the human world, where we get to learn that there was a great war a long time ago, and so the humans and the demons split the planet, and to keep the demons satisfied, the demons were allowed to grow humans in the farms to be consumed. In other words, they were allowed to grow humans as cattle. The demons required human brains in order to keep their more humanoid forms and intellect, otherwise they would devolve back into just being senseless monsters. And again, I think this was all such great storytelling. Imagine a world where humans were at the top of the food chain and simply being consumed for food. This is all psychologically pretty traumatizing, but very compelling storytelling. The next few episodes are really great as our characters head out and make their way across the desert where a hidden base was waiting for them, and they could set up shelter and stay away from the demons while still being on the demon world side. I was absolutely loving where things were going because we started to get this eerie, daunting side of things as the place was completely abandoned and something felt just really off about it. As they kept exploring, they would find this room within a room where a telephone was, and it was a recording of William Minerva, who lets them know that he created all this in hopes children who figured out the secret would have a chance to escape. Then we see a few of the other kids find a hidden room with blood smeared on the wall saying help. And now I'm getting hooked because you know something messed up is going to start happening. And for me personally, I was thinking that maybe William Minerva isn't exactly who he says he is. But this is where things start to just go downhill fast. Like I said, the first 3 episodes were really good, and I was really happy and thought we were in for a treat for season 2. As I mentioned, this bunker had all these hidden passages and we never get back to them. We have no explanation as to why the walls had blood on them. We have no real reason why this phone was in a hidden room, as well, with nothing more going on. It was just odd. Then immediately this all gets tossed aside as human soldiers show up and want to capture the kids, and this was a surprise as to why other humans were after them, and it was all kind of just glossed over. We do know it's because Isabella hired them to capture the children, but this all gets wrapped up insanely fast, and the kids have to abandon the hideout the moment they got there. They also completely abandoned the help message smeared with blood on the wall and never got back to that as well. After doing more research, I learned this is in fact a part of the manga and is completely abandoned in the anime. We jump to Emma and the others now living in a temple of sorts where the demons pay tributes and worship, and they are starving due to the lack of food, but are able to scrounge up some meals due to this old blind demon who brings food to this temple. Emma and the others disguise themselves as demons and walk among them, and this is when we get introduced to... Are you ready for it?
Norma! ようやく会えたね。
Yep, Norman is back and is looking bitter and having zero left to give. This is a face of someone who is tired of this shit and is willing to go to extreme lengths to end this nightmare. We of course later learn that Norman does in fact plan to eradicate the demons and morph them back into their primal forms so they would be easier to kill, that way due to not being organized and less structured. Emma of course wants to find a way for everyone to live happily ever after and is conflicted because she met those nice demons earlier who helped them and knows not all demons are bad. I did like this conflict as it's a very real human problem. You have both good and bad humans, selfish humans and selfless humans, and so it's fascinating to see the demons have similar struggles and problems that we as humans have, and making the demons more humanized in general. Now, the only issue I have with this is how in season 1, the demons felt more like a mystery, something we didn't know much about. And I kind of like that aspect to it all because it made them seem more terrifying as something we would never want to meet face to face, or it would mean you are dead. Humanizing them just made them less scary, which I guess is the intent, but it makes the enemy seem less threatening as compared to season 1. Emma tells Norman she doesn't want to move forward with the eradication plan and wants to find a way to coexist with the demons, and suggests she finds the demon friends that save them, and so Norman tricks them into agreeing.
邪血の少女はまだ生きていたのか?
And while Emma and Ray go off to find the demons, Norman moves forward with the plan anyway. This was another huge problem I had with this season, despite the many problems I'm going to go over in just a moment. And that's Ray. He plays a secondary character in this entire season. He's way too smart to be sidelined and just follows along with whatever Emma wants to do. You would think a guy like Ray would see through Norman's bluff, but doesn't. We jump to Norman and his new allies. Oh, by the way, Norman met a bunch of superpowered humans who were experimented on by the demons, and their overall story is incredibly tragic as they are all going to die soon, and yes, this is also including Norman. This is why he's so bitter and wants to carry out this mission. I have to say though, imagine only being 13 years old and being this damn smart. Norman is in a league of his own when it comes to intellect, but I can definitely say at 13, I didn't even come close to 1% of his intellect. In fact, I'm 34 and I still don't. So back to Norman, he's executing his plan and of course outsmarting everyone, while the demons are being forced back into their primal forms, and so Emma and Ray make it back as they watch this chaos. Luckily they brought their demon friends with them, and this little demon girl has magic blood that if the other demons drink it, they no longer need to rely on eating humans to keep their humanoid forms. This is the major breaking point of the anime. Everything up to this point was still okay. I had a few issues, as I mentioned earlier, but this is where things truly take a turn for the worst. So as Norman was about to try and kill this old demon, he has a change of heart because Emma's Taka no Jutsu was just too damn strong and can't go through with it. They stop the massacre and then move forward with Emma's plan to find a way to coexist with the demons. Then the old demon had a piece that belonged to the computer pen that has been an insanely convenient plot device this entire time, and continues to be one, as we are left to believe that this old demon kept this tiny piece of junk for over 30 years in his pocket, and it has the answer to all of their problems.
農園本部の設計図。
嘘だろ。内部の地図だけじゃない。警備の配置、建物内の配線や回路まで。
No, seriously. It has every single solution they needed. It has the cure to Norman and the others dying. It has the blueprint to everything, so they can strategize their way to saving the people on the other farms and making their way to the human world as well. I was blown away at how lazy this was. Of course, I wasn't alone. Every forum I went to, everyone was losing their minds to this episode, and how it just ruined the series for them completely. This was truly a what the moment. Again, the anime skipped over huge chunks of the manga, rushing them to conclusions and completely changing things from what actually happened to wrap it all up nicely in a pretty little bow. Now, of course, we move forward and have them execute their plan to save everyone else, and even Isabella joins on their side as the devices in their chest can't be utilized now.
おかえり、私の可愛い子供たち。
And then we get the mastermind behind the human farms, which we find out is William Minerva's brother, who is the one who killed William Minerva, and so he takes his own life, which, let's be real, it was for the best. So Isabella and the other moms take everyone to the human world, where they finally can be free, but Norman, Ray, and Emma and the others stay back because they want to help free the other farms, and they again skip over huge chunks of the manga. And I'm not even kidding you, they do this next section in a series of images as a slideshow. That's right, they tied up the rest of the anime in a series of pictures. They all lived happily ever after. I don't understand, why did they do this? I need a drink. And that was the series finale. Yeah, you heard me right. Series finale. The show is done. They wrapped up an entire manga in 22 episodes, which is only 2 seasons. This was a series that should have gone at least 4 or 5 seasons, but because the manga was over and already wrapped up, they saw little incentive to keep the anime going. This is because most anime is used as mostly an advertisement to push manga sales. And if there's no manga, then there's little reason to keep an anime going. This is also why you see a lot of anime only get 1 season to drive up the manga sales. Oh, you're enjoying an anime, but it ends? Well, guess what? The manga is still going, so if you want to see what's happening to your beloved characters, you need to now start reading the manga instead. Nonetheless, I'm deeply disappointed in season 2 of The Promised Neverland, although not the worst thing I've ever watched. And maybe if you are only an anime watcher, then skipping over huge chunks of the manga won't bother you as much, but the pacing issues and them completely wrapping up the anime in 2 seasons was truly a gut punch to the fans. I'm just baffled at how successful of a first season they had. It was everything I could want in an anime. The writing was brilliant, the stakes felt so high, and the psychological warfare our characters had to deal with was heart-wrenching and was amazing to watch. I hold Steins Gate as the most brilliant and amazing anime series I've ever watched, and season 1 to The Promised Neverland was a close second. That's how good of a season 1 was. So going into season 2, this was just a massive heartbreak to see how they just rushed to tie all this up and end it because they saw no more value in continuing the series. I really hope fans can start a movement, maybe something like hashtag release the Promised Neverland cut, and maybe we can get something similar to Full Metal Alchemist and how they brought the anime back called Brotherhood that followed the actual manga. So let's get the movement started, The Promised Neverland Brotherhood. Well, I'm disappointed, as the rest of you, for what happened to this amazing series, But maybe the real treasure was the friends we made along the way.
お前ら別に俺は世界を変えようとか
No, season 2 just sucked. So I'd love to know your thoughts on season 2. Was it a total disaster in your eyes? If so, what was the worst thing about season 2? Otherwise, if you enjoyed season 2, were you happy with how it all wrapped up? Comment below. If you enjoyed this content, consider subscribing. Gently click on that like button as it helps out a ton, and turn on those notifications to be reminded when I release a new video. That's it for this one. I'll see you in the next video.